Lucille Ball revealed the 7 actresses who were truly malevolent before she passed away. Lucille Desiree Lucy Ball was born in Jamestown, New York, on August 6, 1911. Lucille, the daughter of Desiree Evelyn Hunt, a homemaker with aspirations for theater, and Henry Ball, a chiropractor and optometrist, was exposed at a young age to the inventiveness and discipline that would define her profession. Despite having a childhood characterized by her parents' divorce and the ensuing financial difficulties, Lucille showed incredible fortitude, tenacity, and a natural sense of humor that would later come to define her. Ball's early career started in the 1920s and 1930s with little roles in plays and modeling jobs before she made her way to Hollywood. After signing with RKO Pictures, she landed a number of small-scale film roles and steadily established a reputation for her charisma, humorous timing, and expressive body language. It was her bold approach to comedy that would distinguish Lucille Ball, who by the 1940s was known as a versatile actress who could do both comedy and drama. Her distinctive approach, which combines flawless timing, exaggerated facial emotions, and a readiness to embrace humor and absurdity, made it possible for her to establish a lasting and intensely intimate connection with viewers. The 1951 film I Love Lucy, which starred Lucille Ball's real-life husband Desi Arnaz, was the pivotal point in her career. In addition to changing her career, this groundbreaking sitcom also revolutionized the television industry. The multi-camera method that became common in sitcom production was pioneered by I Love Lucy, one of the first programs to be produced in front of a live studio audience. With her portrayal of the endearing, mischievous Lucy Ricardo, Lucille Ball demonstrated her mastery of physical comedy, her ability to capture human frailty, and her talent for timing, which turned everyday occurrences into wonderfully memorable moments. She became a household name as a result of the show's enormous popularity, and she was among the first women to have a major creative influence on television. Beyond her skill on television, Lucille Ball was a trailblazer and businesswoman who smashed barriers. She and Desi Arnaz co-founded Desilu Productions in 1952, a production company that created a number of popular television series, such as Mission Impossible and Star Trek. After divorcing Arnaz in 1960, Lucille took complete command of Desilu, making history as the first female head of a large television studio in a field dominated by men. In addition to influencing television production going forward, her vision and leadership encouraged generations of women to seek jobs in business and entertainment. Ball demonstrated her adaptability and ongoing popularity by entertaining audiences with a plethora of television shows, specials, and appearances, such as The Lucy Show and Here's Lucy, even after I Love Lucy. Throughout her life, she won numerous Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe, and the esteemed Kennedy Center Honor, among many other honors. Beyond honors, her genuine legacy is found in the happiness she offered to millions of people, the opportunities she created for women in the entertainment industry, and the benchmarks she established for comedic brilliance. When Lucille Ball met Desi Arnaz in 1940, her life took a drastic change. Desi Arnaz was a dynamic Cuban bandleader who was quickly becoming well-known in Hollywood and the nightclub industry. The B-grade musical film Dance, Girl, Dance was the scene of their first meeting. Although it was not a critical or financial success, the film gained historical significance because it was there that Lucille and Desi first experienced the spark that would eventually lead to one of the most well-known marriages in show business history. Despite their disparate cultural upbringings, Desire was Cuban-born, while Lucille was an American of English, Scottish, and Irish ancestry born in New York. They were immediately captivated by one another's humor, charisma, and love of entertainment. Their courtship was quick and passionate. The two quickly became inseparable, eventually getting married and starting a life that would combine their personal and professional lives. Lucille's quickly rising profession frequently kept her away from home, thus the early years of her marriage to Desi were both exciting and stressful. She was committed to being a leading lady in Hollywood, which meant traveling widely, working long hours on movie sets, and never giving up on her career. Due to their hectic schedules, the pair frequently experienced physical and mental separation, which put their fledgling marriage to the strain. Lucille filed for divorce in 1944 as a result of the strains of distance and the difficulties of juggling work and family obligations. However, the depth of their love and the tie they had formed remained robust in the face of uncertainty and separation. Desi and Lucille showed a dedication to one another that went beyond the conventional Hollywood romance when they reconciled after much thought and work. They had a difficult time becoming parents because Lucille miscarried several times in 1942, 1949, and 1950. The couple's emotional fortitude and capacity to help one another through intense grief were put to the test by these heartbreaking losses. Eventually, in 1951, Lucille gave birth to Lucy Arnaz, their first child. This happy event signaled the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. When Desi Arnaz Jr., their second child, was born on January 19, 1953, the family's size increased even further. Lucille and Desi experienced great joy and fulfillment when their children were born, but their already difficult lives became even more complicated and burdened with new duties. The trappings of celebrity, personal disagreements, and the unrelenting demands of their individual occupations ultimately caused their marriage to end, despite their love and shared memories. Desi and Lucille separated in 1960. Lucille subsequently said that their marriage had occasionally been a nightmare. Desi was a big love of her life, but she was cautious to accept the lasting significance of their relationship. The combination of intense love and unavoidable difficulties that has captivated fans and historians for decades is encapsulated in this paradox. Lucille fell in love once more in 1961 when she wed Gary Morton, a gifted stand-up comedian whose humor and steady demeanor contrasted with the intensity of her first marriage. The two spent the remainder of Lucille's life together, and their relationship was characterized by stability, friendship, and respect for one another. With Gary Morton's help, Lucille was able to carry on with her groundbreaking work in entertainment and television while having a long and love relationship that lasted for many years. Their marriage, which was based on loyalty, friendship, and humor, was evidence of Lucille's capacity to rediscover contentment and equilibrium following the upheaval of her early years. And up until her passing, it continued to be a pillar of her private life. The renowned queen of comedy and television, Lucille Ball, is said to have disclosed a startling fact before she died that had been concealed for decades under Hollywood's glitzy exterior. Ball was well known for her flawless timing, contagious laugh, and groundbreaking contribution to the development of television as we know it. She was also familiar with the darker aspects of the entertainment business. She had worked with numerous performers and actresses throughout her career. Some of them had covert goals and secret ambitions that the public frequently overlooked. Sources close to Ball said that she told a select group of friends and co-workers that she thought at least 7 Hollywood stars were truly nasty. These weren't just competitors or actresses with challenging on-set behavior. She felt that these women's acts were deliberate, malevolent, and extremely detrimental to people around them. Lucille Ball's remarks were clear, accurate, and unapologetic. She had a way of smiling at you while she plotted your downfall, she allegedly said, referring specifically to Joan Crawford. It was impossible to tell if she was applauding your performance or anticipating your stumble. You couldn't help but notice the darkness she carried. Ball's thoughts were based on years of personal experience because she had met Crawford multiple times and saw firsthand her sardonic critique and behind-the-scenes maneuvers. Crawford, in Ball's view, embodied a kind of premeditated brutality that transcended professional rivalry and entered private spheres where friendship and devotion were viewed as instruments rather than values. Bette Davis, an actress whose skill was legendary but whose temperament was equally infamous, was apparently another name Lucille Ball mentioned. Bette has the ability to captivate an entire room while leaving you wondering if you were merely a pawn in her scheme. Ball supposedly said. Davis, who is renowned for her fiery independence and tenacity, has the potential to be both frightening and inspirational. Ball's understanding of Davis's character implies that she saw the dual nature of some of Hollywood's most successful celebrities, their capacity to evoke both wonder and terror. Ball's remarks suggested that despite their intelligence, these individuals were capable of precisely manipulating and harming others. Frequently in the name of friendship or mentoring. Mae West, a name associated with humor, sexuality, and unreserved confidence, was also purportedly mentioned by Lucille Ball. Ball warned about West's propensity to take advantage of others for her own benefit rather than her skill or charm. Ball allegedly claimed that Mae could turn even the most straightforward exchange into a trap. Ball's keen intuition and profound comprehension of human behavior, developed over decades in a field where appearances frequently belied genuine motives, are evident in this type of observation. According to reports, Ball's exposé went on with Tallulah Bankhead, Carole Lombard, Joan Fontaine, and Ingrid Bergman, among other actresses. Ball purportedly described instances of brutality, envy, and manipulation for each that went well beyond typical professional rivalry. She detailed instances where co-workers were targeted by using private talks as a weapon, where favoritism was used as a weapon, and where trust was viewed as a resource that could be misused. According to Ball's remark, there was an undercurrent of personal objectives and interpersonal conflicts that might be disastrous if one was not cautious, even though the public witnessed sparkling premieres and glamorous smiles. The discrepancy between Lucille Ball's private stories and her public persona was what made her purported disclosures particularly startling. Ball, who was well known for her warmth, humor, and capacity for self-laughter, had a sharp, analytical mind that was intensely aware of human motivations, as evidenced by her private observations. Over the years, she had discovered that surviving in Hollywood required more than simply skill or good fortune, it also required an awareness of the intricate social forces at play. Her remarks suggested that some actors pursued success by deceit and emotional manipulation, leaving a path of damage in their wake, while many others pursued success through charm or hard work. On April 26, 1989, Lucille Ball, the adored actress and television pioneer whose life had been characterized by both remarkable career achievement and personal fortitude, suffered an unexpected and serious medical emergency that would finally result in her death. Those around her were instantly startled when she complained of severe back aches that day, characterizing them as abnormally sharp and persistent. Her recent major heart surgery to repair an aortic rupture, a disease that was exceedingly risky in and of itself and had required extensive medical intervention, made this new discomfort more troubling. Her condition quickly worsened in the hours that followed. Friends, relatives, and medical staff were left in a condition of frantic concern as she lost consciousness. Her body was unable to recover from the new medical emergency, and she tragically died despite the attending physician's quick efforts to stabilize her condition. The reason of her death, according to later examinations, was another aortic rupture, this time in the abdomen. Crucially, medical professionals explained that her previous cardiac surgery had nothing to do with this rupture, highlighting the condition's abruptness and unpredictable nature. Whether in the thoracic or abdominal area, an aorta rupture is a potentially fatal condition because it tears the body's major artery and, if left untreated, causes extensive internal hemorrhage. This second rupture in Lucille Ball's instance happened so quickly that there was almost any chance for meaningful medical intervention. The terrible timing was partially explained by the discovery that it had nothing to do with her previous surgery. Millions of fans worldwide, however, who had long adored her for her groundbreaking contributions to television, her unwavering spirit, and her unmatched comedic talent, were still shocked and saddened by her passing.